Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 558. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Casey, how are we? This is a true welcome back. A little hiatus.
It's good to be back.
Mini hiatus.
A week at North Myrtle. You have to specify because we don't. When we go down there, we're not mingling with the Myrtle folks. It's two different.
Is there a stigma to this?
Oh yeah, you heard of Dirty Myrtle? Yeah, we're North Myrtle. It's a little nicer,
better,
a little cleaner. Better options for food, things here and there.
It's just like a Scottsdale versus Phoenix argument.
Yeah, I would venture to say so. You would know that better than I would, but we're probably along the same lines there. But
like a Manhattan versus the Bronx.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're.
All right.
That's exactly what we're working with here. But good to be back. Week there, I was able to. We were talking about before we hopped on here. Ran the cookout gauntlet, which isn't a thing. Like we made it a thing. Me and my in-laws.
Like a little gauntlet.
Because you asked me what it was. I said, well, I'll tell you on the pod. Basically, when we started taking this trip, like 6 years ago, 2020, whenever COVID first hit.
That's insane to say out loud.
We started going to cookout. Like a few nights out of the week that we were there, like, hey, because we all love cookout, we love the shakes, and we're like, we're already going to cookout like 2, 3, maybe even 4 times during this beach week. Like, how crazy would it be if we got a cookout shake every night of the week that we were here? And it's kind of just been this running joke, never been like a realistic thing that we really try to pursue. But this year we got 3-4 days into it, and we're like, we could do this. And as the week go, it's not for the faint of heart. Like people start dropping out, and it came down to, it was me, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. The 3 of us completed the cookout gauntlet, 7 shakes in 7 days. It was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life.
Calories, guys.
One of the biggest accomplishments of my life.
Good for you.
Thank you. So I'm swearing off sugar for the next probably couple weeks to balance things out.
Did you switch them up, or did you keep doing the same ones?
Switch them up. Yeah, they got like 40 plus flavors, so a lot to work with there. You can combine flavors, so we had a good time.
Good for you. Look, no disrespect, but being there a week, you don't look that much more tan. I think the tan.
Well, if I was rocking like a fresh white tee, maybe. But I personally feel like I'm glowing. So to me, that's all that really matters. You may not agree, but I feel like I have a nice healthy glow. So I'm feeling great heading into this new week.
Are you a peel kind of guy? The peeling going on?
More than I'd like to admit at times, but we'll see how this week goes.
Sure. Good stuff. Welcome back.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back talking some ball. We got some things to get into. Not as much, maybe a little bit of a lighter week. I think you brought up the point before we hopped on. These are the dog days, folks. Like you hear about them. We're living them.
Yeah.
But still some things to get to right off the top. I want to talk about this home run race that we're now in the midst of, because as I said to you, I think Kyle Schwarber just seemingly out of nowhere inserting himself into the mix. Dude's been on a heater as of late. Admittedly, I was a little checked out this past week because I'm trying to fight waves and trying to make sure I'm properly applying sunscreen and everything. So I'm not on my P's and Q's.
I hate my team, so I'm not on my P's and Q's either. I kind of hate baseball right now personally, but I don't know if anyone else is feeling that. The sport is pissing me off pretty good.
It happens, man. You're you're in real life team, your fantasy team's cooked.
I'm really looking forward to
fantasy football.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
That meme that you posted. Which one was I? Am I Paul Walker?
You got Paul Walker and Vin Diesel,
Yeah.
the classic Fast and Furious meme. You got them hitting a fork in the road. They're going their separate ways. And I said the meme was like, hey, you've got your fans that like baseball, but then you've also got your fans that like baseball who also like football. And we've hit that now that we're getting preseason underway in the NFL, we're hitting that fork in the road where, look, no disrespect.
That's okay.
We're going to have to just tip our collective our caps to one another and be like, well, I guess we'll see you. We'll link back up in March because there's no convincing the diehard football fans who also who also like really enjoy baseball. There's no convincing them that like, hey, you should stick around, even though I've never understood the argument why the football people that also like baseball decide to split off when they do. It's like, just ride out this. We're coming up on the best part of the baseball season.
The older I get, the more I'm fully, truly convinced that fall is the greatest time of year.
The best.
It's not even close. It's really not even close. The fact that we've been bamboozled into thinking that summer is the best is just wrong.
Yeah. We talked about that at the beach. Like outside of the beach, like it's just otherwise it's hot and miserable and sweaty.
Yeah.
Like the fall is, especially as a
can't
sports
wear
fan.
half your closet.
Like, exactly.
I'm a little chunky. I'd like to wear my thicker clothing. You know what I mean? Like that's what fall is built for. I want a bowl of chili. But no, it's 118 and we can't do that right now.
Is it actually
Fall's
118?
Greatest. Yeah, we broke a record the other day. Fall is the greatest because you have all of it. You got postseason baseball. You obviously got football. For basketball fans, it's knocking on the corner. It's knocking on the door. It's like, meh.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like I was saying though, like when these football fans also like baseball, when they choose to split off, it's like the second preseason gets here, I'm out. It's like, no, ride out the best part of the baseball season. If you like both sports equally or, comparably, ride that out. And then you've got football to carry you through to next year. Like,
sure.
And then you only have to wait a little bit until spring training's here. So like, I don't know, the split, the timing of the split for football fans confuses me sometimes.
I agree. You're not wrong because preseason football's stupid. I will say I haven't really been a huge college football guy. I think I'm going to try it out a little bit more. Try it out a little bit more this year. Yeah. I think I'm just going to try to dive in a little bit. But yeah, and it's like you're also like fantasy football hype for sure. Like you're in the thick of that. I love fantasy baseball. I think fantasy football is better.
Yeah,
on the fantasy realm, it's just better.
Sure. I mean, there's a level of infrequency is not the right word, but just like the nature of the football season as it compares to the baseball season. Like you can't beat that from a fantasy perspective. Like you have so many matchups. Yeah. Meanwhile, baseball's a grind. It's not.
It is.
Fantasy baseball is not for everybody.
It's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. Back to home runs.
Yeah. Long-winded way of saying that we're in the dog days, but Kyle Schwarber, just in the midst of all of this, has inserted himself into the conversation of home run king for the 2025 season. Can we just look at the leaderboard as it stands right now? Coming into the day, Shohei, I think, what was it, last night? Just crossed over the 40 threshold for, I believe, the fourth time in his career. Kyle Schwarber currently sits at 41 and Big Dumper at 44.
Is it just me, or have things kind of like the pace has drastically slowed down?
Yeah, well, I think that's the nature of the time of the
pace.
year that we're at. I mean, even you got Aaron Judge getting dinged up a little bit. He's fallen off the, I won't say fallen off the trail, but he's trailing at 30. Him and Gino Suarez both at 37.
Like even him and well, you can
As
probably
Carlos
argue
Correa
for
trots the bases at Yankee Stadium.
yeah. I'm gonna
big
rip
time.
this TV down, and
Big time.
this is why I'm on fantasy football now. I mean, you could make the argument that any of these guys could really get on a heater and either close the gap or create a very large gap at the top. But I think of the four, like Shohei and Judge are the two where I'm like, when they come, it's not just a small bunch, it's a big bunch that they're coming in. So you never know. I mean, I could see, these top 5 guys all sniffing 50.
Sure. You're a betting man. You were at the casino last night. So let me ask you this.
But I was there.
Well, still a betting man. I mean, you're there.
Yep.
Your presence has to count for something. If you had to bet today, simple question: who do you think's taking the crown?
I'm not going to go recency bias, but I do think just because of like the fact that the wear and tear is so much less on Schwarber, and that's the whole argument to Cal Raleigh is that like he's not even just like an average catcher; he's an incredible catcher, and he catches every day. Like he just doesn't really miss games very often. I think that wear and tear is like eventually going to get to you, whereas Schwarber does get to DH. And this is clearly the time he comes alive. I would go Schwarber. And that's a little recency bias, but it's kind of how I feel.
What's impressive for me for Schwarber is the fact that he's doing this in a contract year as well. Like this,
Good night.
He is having, we say it all the time. People love to bring up the fact that he's like a 220 hitter. Mm-hmm. He's hitting 252 right now, in addition to the 41 homers. So, I think the general consensus is that Schwarber is going to earn himself at this stage in his career. This is his age 32 season. He's earned himself a 3-4 year contract.
Yeah, I don't know why at least my perception of him has him older than 32. Just been doing it for so long, I guess. Like the Cubs feel like a different lifetime ago. I feel like he's been in Philly forever. But yeah,
he's made multiple stops in Chicago. He was with the Nationals. He was with the Red Sox.
Like it's like there's a big gap in between. But I'm just saying, like when you think back of him as a Cub, you're like, that doesn't even feel right.
And in a weird way, I almost feel like I remember him being kind of old, not like old, but like I'm like
kind of like a vet of that.
Yeah,
crew.
like a.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think a lot. I think a lot hinges on the success of the Phillies season. They look really good.
You think they're going to throw a stupid contract at him if they win? If they make a deep run?
I think if they win the World Series, you'll see a Strasburg-esque type situation, and hopefully there's better success on the player end of a post-World Series deal. But just what he's brought the crew, man, what he's done for this team is insane, and he deserves it.
When you say Strasburg, you just mean in terms of you mean as it relates to
like a very clear overpay.
Right. You're not talking in terms of money or length or anything. You're just saying like the nature of the deal. Yeah.
Yeah, like a very clear overpay. So
Davey D is just chomping at the bit, waiting to win this whole thing so he can just throw out some stupid contracts.
I gotta plug in I gotta turn this outlet on. Paige is gonna hear about this. She's hitting these switches over here, and my charger's plugged into one of those switches that's on the light switch. Yeah, we're gonna
real professional operation we've got going on here.
Real rinky dink.
What would you expect? Hey, shout out while I'm looking at it, shout out to JV Justin Verlander becoming the 10th pitcher in MLB history to reach 3,500 strikeouts. Love that. Holding it down on the fantasy squad for the last couple starts.
Have you?
Yeah, but back to the homers, specifically as it pertains to Cal Raleigh and Judge. Can we revisit real quick just what this AL MVP race is looking like now? I mean, obviously you've been paying closer attention to Judge, even with the stint on the shelf. Has the conversation really changed at all, or is Judge really still the clear front runner
MVP
here? Yeah.
No, not anymore. No, I think it's. I mean, average has started to get lower and lower. It's like in the 330s now, which is still insane to just be like. That's still incredible.
337.
But it's just. To me, it goes back to the catching thing, and I think like as a sport, and for the voting, I can't help but feel like it has to be celebrated to see a catcher doing this, and it feels like a missed opportunity. But who knows, man? If Judge goes on one of these runs and starts to close the gap home run wise, and he's hitting 340 when it's all said and done, it's like that's kind of hard to argue with. I don't know. What about for you? Because I mean, like I understand if there's some bias there, but like there's bias against my conversation here, but I have bias for, so that's why we're here. This is why we do the podcast.
I mean, he's got 30, as I mentioned, 37 homers, an OPS of 1137.
Yeah.
And he's hitting 337. Again, that's just like your elementary counting stats here. Like we're not even getting into the deeper levels of this discussion.
Right.
But I don't know. Like Cal Raleigh doing it behind the dish. 44 jacks, 946 OPS. He's hitting 248. It's not like, I get it. Right field compared to the position of catcher. I get the conversation there. There's a very clear difference in terms of the toll it takes. Mm-hmm. However, it's not like Judge is just DHing all year.
Sure.
Like he's contributing on both sides of the ball. But what Judge is doing offensively is what Raleigh's doing behind the dish enough to that. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the conversation we've been having all year. But I think the only thing that's made it interesting, the only layer that has been, added to this conversation is the fact that Judge has now missed a little bit of time, but he's back. It seems like,
yeah, it's taken him a while to get. That's why I'm curious to see if like he does. I think he will click back in, but I don't even know what his stretch has been since he's been back. I think it's been pretty rough. He's like 3 for 30 something.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying like
he's not out. He's
mechanically, production wise back. Yeah. I'm just saying presence wise, he's back. As Ohtani goes yard, so that puts him at 41 on the leaderboard, tying him with Schwarber at number 2.
There we go. Yeah, man. It is weird because like it's almost the same argument for Ohtani. Like, have we become numb to how good they are. How good of a hitter Aaron Judge and Ohtani are. Like, because they do it so often, is that kind of it's taking away from them, like hurting them in any way. You know? Because that is, I think there's a little bit of, I'm kind of missing the word, but it's not like saturation to it, but like you kind of feel this is the norm, and you forget how incredible they are. And like, we are definitely watching from each side two of the greatest hitters ever, not just this generation, but ever.
Yeah, that we've ever seen, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Going back to your question though, kind of putting a bow on this, in terms of who I think runs away with it. Oh, I shouldn't even say run away with it, but who's ultimately crowned the leader of this pack when it's all said and done, because it's going to be an interesting race. Like I said, we've got, I mean, if you want to, I think you can safely put Judge in the mix, even though he's slipping behind a little bit, having missed a little bit of time. Safe to say it'll take a good week or two and he'll be right back into the thick of it. But even if you want to include a guy like Gino Suarez, who's right there with Judge, we're looking at a 5-man race. But to what you said in terms of recency bias, I don't want to play into that too much, but you did make a point about Schwarber and this time of year, like when, as we get closer to the end of the season, I feel like is when Schwarber kicks in another notch. Like, you hear all the time about June Schwarber, but I would be curious. I would want to see what his splits are as we get into, as we wrap up summer, getting into early fall. Because like you said, with the wear and tear combined with what his splits might look like, this might be the season of Schwarber.
Is the perception of the Phillies like just different for baseball fans versus Philly fans? Because like, I don't know why this year just feels so much different than years past for the Phillies, where it just I feel like we've gone back to what we were feeling a few years ago. I feel like the first, and I don't know when the switch happened, but seemingly overnight, the perception around the Phillies was like, because if you remember, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I was like, I'm going to give this team one more year. This was your last year. Yeah.
And then the way that they started the season, I'm like, I feel a little bit justified in saying what I said. But then, like I said, seemingly overnight, something switched with the Phillies. And I'm like, I feel the way about the Phillies right now that I did 2022, like that little stretch that they had. So I don't know what that's credited to. And then they make some additions at the deadline to bolster things.
I think the deadline was a good turning point for a lot of people too, but like we got to have the conversation of like, the division is a lot lighter this year than it has been in years past. I mean,
and the Mets are free falling right now.
I don't know, something in the water in New York, I guess, but like they're
literally, yeah, probably.
It's very specific water. Good bagels, not good for sports. I don't know. And the Braves, like, whatever, don't even exist. So that's a part of the conversation too. Where are we going back to like a similar word we just used with the home run race? Like, are we fatigued of the Phillies' success to this point just because no one's really challenged them at any point? And are we just like locking them in for the postseason and automatically considering them one of the best teams in baseball or the best team in baseball just because of that? Like, I don't know. There's like a fine line.
I don't know if I'd say there's fatigue. This is an interesting conversation. Like, who, if we're ranking teams that, if we're putting these teams, like all 30 teams on a fatigue scale, I don't think the Phillies are I mean, are the Phillies even in the top 5? I don't think there's a fatigue around the Phillies. I think with the Dodgers, obviously. I think the Padres, you could slot the Padres in ahead of the Phillies.
I'm not saying, I'm saying specifically this year. Like, if we're looking at the 2025 Phillies, are we just like, we don't really need to look at like the divisional race at the moment. Cal Raleigh just hit 45, by the way. We don't really need to look at like the divisional race, like especially at this free fall that the Mets are in. The rest of the division's booty. When you look at the NL, like the Cubs have the same record. The Brewers are the best team in the NL and the best team in baseball at the moment. You're just like, why is it that we're just so easily fixated on, are the Phillies going back to the World Series? Like, especially after this deadline. Like, I think this is the hardest road through the NL that they're going to have when it comes to this postseason.
Well, I think it's because of that run that I mentioned. Like, you look back at the last few years, you're going, okay, they've shown you that they can. They may not have won it yet, but they've shown you that they can get there. They're capable of getting there. So it would be easy for me to see why people would just default to being like, okay, so if the Phillies are back, then I'm just going to go ahead and slot them in as a team that could serve as the strongest threat.
Sure.
Or one of the strongest threats on the NL side of things. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, I don't know when the switch with the Phillies happened. It would have had to have been within the last month. Something really, at least for me, in my perception of the team, something switched.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things shape out for them. But speaking of the Dodgers and a threat to win it all coming out of the National League, Clayton Kershaw over the weekend went up against longtime competitor Max Scherzer, former teammate Max Scherzer. I always forget that. I was reading I read some articles about it, and they were I saw that attribution, like, oh, former going up against former teammate Max Scherzer. It's like that doesn't count.
It's like,
that's not a thing.
Like Randy Johnson in Houston. You're just like, I don't really think about it. Like, just doesn't come up on my Wikipedia page in my brain.
Yeah, not the thing. But if you don't know the backstory, very interesting story. They were selected 4 picks apart in the 2006 draft. Have both won 3 Cy Youngs, and their first matchup was how many?
Speaking of which, it was a Randy Johnson start day. That's funny. It was a Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux start day in like
08. Both were scratched on September 7th. Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux both were scratched. And then the people that were in attendance had to watch Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw, these 2 little young bucks, go at it.
And the complaint was like, imagine getting tickets to this matchup and this is what you got to see.
It was 6,179 days after their first matchup. They went up, obviously, Scherzer with the Jays now, Kershaw still with the Dodgers. Look, the narrative around this game, Scherzer and Kershaw, it's like, well, I saw so many people been like, nobody wants to watch this. They're washed. They're just milking it for the money. And I'm like, if you're of the belief that they're just hanging on for the money, like I'm not going to be the, you don't know ball guy, but like you're clearly just not paying attention to, or you haven't paid attention to the makeup of these guys in terms of how, like, in terms of the types of competitors that they are, and like what they are striving to do in their career, and like what their goals are. I mean, sure, the money is nice, no doubt, but like, I would have to imagine that the day that Max Scherzer, I mean, I won't even say Clayton Kershaw because he's had a different road to get to where he is. But a guy like Max Scherzer, to me, the second that he hangs up the spikes, how many months, if not years, is it going to take him to finally come to grips or come to terms with the fact that like he can't go out and dice people up? Like he's going to be the type of guy that he's going to be probably 62, trying to convince his circle, the people he's hanging out with, that if they just gave me a shot, if they just gave me a spot start, I could go out and do it. That's the kind of guy we're talking about here.
I think that's some of the greatest makeup or the makeup of some of the greatest pitchers we've seen. You know what I mean? It's like, even at this age, you're like, you've been retired for 10, 15 years, and like, that isn't gone. I could still strike you out right now at my age. Like that.
CC Sabathia just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I guarantee you, he thinks that he could go out and still get it done.
Yeah, 100%. Clemens, same way. It's just like, there's guys that just like that you can't remove that. I'm still going to find a way to get you out. I may not have what I had in the tank back in the day, but I can get you out. You know what I mean? Like, there's still that edge to him. And then I think in a different way, Kershaw's had a really impressive year in my mind. And I'm not going to sit here and dive into numbers and compare it to like league leaders or even prime Kershaw days, but like, I think you can look at Kershaw and say he's done after this year. He's officially leaving it all on the table, and like, he's, I think, able to go out on top. No matter the result of this season for the Dodgers, I think he's able to go out on top saying like, I'm pretty comfortable with my performance this year. I was healthy. I made a lot of starts. What is he? He's going to finish with a decent amount of starts, won't he? Over 20?
I was actually just going to look that up.
Is that in play? Is 20 starts in play?
It's made 14.
Not quite. Not quite in play. Maybe. Oh, yeah, we got time.
Got like 2 months.
Yeah.
Well,
month and a half. Yeah. I think it could happen. It's about right.
Either way,
it's just like it's very cool. Like, don't take it for granted. I think what's cool about this, and like, even if it got blown up a little bit more, especially bringing back like their date, like, you know, that matchup back in the day with the debuts, and it's like, I think we have a sport that's very full circle, you know, and it's like, appreciate those moments, appreciate the full circle moments. It's very cool to see. It's very, like, all of the things that have happened in our game since the last time that this was like the graphic that we're going off of. And I know there's been a bunch of matchups in between, but like, you get to see these cool moments of like a full legend on each side, still doing it, still trying their hardest. And every pitcher kind of fades in their own ways. It's rare, especially for that position, to be fully dominant when you're all done. It's just not how it works.
I think, like, how quickly people forget. We're 2 years removed from Kershaw giving us 24 starts with an ERA of 2.46 in an all-star year in which he was 35 in 2023.
I do hope he calls it after this, though. It just kind of feels that way. I don't want to see him struggle along for another one. And no disrespect, I don't think 20 starts is necessarily like the standard that we should be chasing for multiple years.
Sure.
But
you got to, the shirt that you're wearing, the All-Star game, you got to think that the nod there,
Dave
was
Roberts
maybe
managing
was an indicator that, maybe this is kind of This is kind of it.
Yeah, he's taking it in, man. And he's doing it well, and he's like producing, and I think that's got to be the most satisfying part of it. It's like I am producing for my team. So, Scherzer, I don't know. Scherzer, it's hard to tell. Verlander, it's hard to tell. Both of them feel like it's a little bit of stat chasing going on.
Well, Verlander said he wanted to go till what? He was 45?
Yeah, and he said that a few years ago, didn't he?
He's 42 right now.
He ain't getting to 45.
And not getting to 45. He's made 19 starts this year, 4.29, 1-8.
Serviceable, I guess, but like, what are we talking about?
He's going after the, or no, not Verlander. Verlander's already got the strikeouts. It's
the wins. Verlander's going for wins, isn't he? I think he's trying to get to 300 wins.
Oh, he's not getting 300. He's at 263.
No. Yeah. Well, I'm saying like that was.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like
desire to get to
that
45,
was the next.
Because I think he felt like that's how long it would take him. But
that was the next thing. Yeah.
A shame on any baseball team that's going to give him a shot that long based on what we've seen. Anyway, we're off on a tangent here.
Yeah, we're really off on a tangent here.
It's dog days, man. Just dog day conversations.
We're talking some ball, man. We're just talking some ball. Oh, shoot. Did Cal Raleigh go deep?
Yeah. You didn't hear me say that earlier?
I did not hear you say that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's at 45 now.
Yeah. Yep. I got the Twitter notifications back on. Now I'm getting all the home run buzzings.
Wow,
that's an interesting one to have, by the way, as far as notifications on.
The MLB home runs account?
I don't hate it.
I love it, dude.
Sometimes there's days where I'm just like, man, I'm not looking. But then there are days where I'm like, it's nice to know. Keeps you tapped in a little bit.
Well, it's nice in cases like this when you're keeping tabs on like Raleigh and Schwarber, but when it's like Johnny Bag of Potatoes has like
third home run of the year.
Yeah, like what are we? I could do without this notification. Anywho's, speaking of Johnny Bag of Potatoes, this individual is not a bag of potatoes. In fact, you could call him Johnny Bag of Money. Roman Anthony signing an 8-year contract extension, includes a $5 million signing bonus, $130 million. I'm always intrigued by these contract extensions when it comes time to look at the escalators. It's like what could this really max out at?
I think it could end up being pretty fat, couldn't it?
230.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
230 for the Red Sox outfielder. Going back to the fantasy baseball conversation, I told you the other day, this is a guy that from even aside from fantasy baseball, I'm just generally excited to watch this guy's career play out. But specifically from a fantasy perspective, I'm like, I'd be intrigued in locking this guy up in fantasy. But this dude's just a ball player, man. Dude is a ball player. And this is going to be one of those contracts where I'm trying not to let bias play into it here, but I feel like this is one of those contracts that's you don't have to have the concern of like, is this going to age well?
Okay.
I feel like you can kind of just look at it and know.
All right, fair enough.
This dude, I love the timing of it. I think it maybe should have. You probably could have even knocked this out a little earlier, but the fact that it came at a time when the Sox are just playing some ball, which, real quick on that, going back to the deadline, just revisiting that conversation, I'm curious as to how your team's acquisitions have been doing. Because you did say, I think it was, how did we phrase it? I think we said weak ass team.
Mm-hmm.
and how we did nothing at the deadline.
It's August. What are we talking about? Are we seriously talking about this?
I'm just saying.
I think the collapse of my team has nothing to do with your team. I think your team is still weak.
They're trending in completely opposite directions.
That's fine.
Which is what I was saying about the timing of the Roman Anthony. Like this, you want to talk about vibes. Like this is something. This was a gift from above. Just got sprinkled in. Hey, vibes could not be higher.
Now I'm going to step in and play devil's advocate.
Tremendously locked in. Tremendously locked in. Here you go. Here's a Roman Anthony. Here's an extension for your boy.
Okay. So devil's advocate.
Sure.
Are we really offering a potential of $200 million to somebody who doesn't even have 50 career hits in the show yet? Like, are we going to have that conversation?
Yeah, I think I saw.
That's crazy.
Is it the highest or second highest or largest contracts with that qualifier of like fewer than whatever?
It's either whatever qualifier you want.
It's either the largest or second largest. I don't remember who would have been the other individual.
Hasn't even had 200 ABs in the show. It's crazy. It's like, that is insane.
Well,
so I get what you're saying. Like, I think you can see it with certain players, and I'm not saying is that player or isn't that player. I'm just saying, like, the standard being set of like buying out arbitration this quickly is pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
What are you saying is the negative here? Like, what are you saying? There's a risk by doing this, or are you saying this is a backfire on him?
I think you could go either way, because there was a lot of the argument saying like, what are you doing? We've seen the examples of a Ronald Acuna that, like, if that is the ceiling and that's who you become, kind of shot yourself in the foot as far as money goes. But I'm just saying the standard of like these teams handing out extensions and buying out arbitration, it's just nuts. Because
but $150 though for the upside that exists here, and on the flip side for him, I think
we know the benefits of it, right? Like, it's the security for the player,
sure,
and it's the value striking, while it's hot for the team. But I think there's commitment to that for an organization. There's commitment to saying this is our guy. Like, I think that's what it says more than anything. I think if we put finances aside and we put even the caliber of player, for you to this quickly say this is our guy, well, it's just strange to me.
You can't just stumble into being the top prospect in baseball. Like, you got to show. There's got to be something there that serves as evidence.
How many times have we heard that? How many number one prospects have we seen flop?
And there's been misses, but like on the flip side, you've seen triggers pulled early on contracts that you get to the end of it and you're going, man, what a mistake on behalf of the player.
I just think it's too early to call. I think it's obviously too early to call whether it's going to age well or not. And then I think the safety net is like, if it doesn't age well, like, it's like not that much money, so whatever. I think it is the commitment to the guy and your organization going this direction for 8 years when you don't really know.
I'm excited.
I'm not trying to rain on your parade. And all I'm saying is that, like, it is kind of crazy. Like, you look at like the Bobby Witt Jr. situation where you see him as like an MVP candidate after an incredible season, and then the extension comes in. You know what I mean? I'd like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see a full freaking season. I'd like to see 400 ABs under this cat before I'm rolling out that type of security. I can see why it's a vibe check. I can see why it's like get the organization hyped about it.
But to your point, if if you wait until he's got 400 ABs under his belt, the price tag only goes up.
I get it, but that much? We're really going to say it's going to go up that much?
Well, I just threw that out because that's the number you throw out. But I'm saying, like, if you wait a year, 2 years, whatever it ends up being, and he continues to do what they believe he's, and presumably he believes he's capable of doing, price tag only goes up.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Baseball's
excited.
Just weird, man. These are weird. This whole standard that has been like thrown out there. Different. And it really is Alex Anthopoulos that started this.
Different situation, but it's why I liked what they did with Crochet. They locked him up before he really got into the depths of this Cy Young caliber season.
There's some risk involved when you're doing that, and like you got to give credit to a team that's willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
And I think it does put him in good shape, obviously financially, for plugging other holes or spending that money elsewhere on the roster. And this could look fantastic when he is in an MVP conversation in 3, 4, 5 years potentially. So, yeah, it's this weird thing. I don't know. Like I'm interested to see what, like, because Acuna being the first of this ilk, I'm curious to see what post arbitration buyout Acuna is, to see what, like, for the first time we're seeing someone move into that chapter of this. We're still so new in the way this is being done, and it is cool. It just reminded me, I heard about I don't remember what player it was. Did you hear about some lawsuit have you heard of those financial backing organizations or like agencies for players in the minor leagues?
Is this, you talking about the thing you see commercials for on TV where it's like you can be a part of this guy's financial earning? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know how they make money.
I don't know how they make money, but there's a player that just, I think it was Tatis. It was Tatis. He is suing the agency because he had signed with an agency when he was in the minor leagues. And this agency basically is like, we'll fork over the money. Like, we'll pay for your housing. We'll give you some money. We'll give you guarantee that your organization isn't. But in turn, we're getting 10% of all your future contracts.
Oh, yeah. I'm seeing it right here.
And then I think Tatis is basically saying, like, you took advantage of me of being a kid.
Tatis received $2 million up front in exchange for 10% of future earnings. Tatis signed a $340 million 14-year contract in February 2021.
Which it's like, I don't know if I can be on the Tatis side of that argument. Like, it feels like the agency did exactly what, like, you took a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, that's an investment. You back a player, and if he doesn't pan out, you're out $2 million. If it does pan out, you should be getting $34 million right now. Anyway, I know we went off on a tangent again, but that I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought you were talking about this. It's like here we go. I thought you were talking.
It could be one of these agencies.
I thought you were talking about, I saw a commercial where it was like the athlete income sharing system. Oh yeah, sure. Speak of the devil, Emmanuel Clase. I think he was part of this. He was one of the guys. The most random commercial, but they'd come on and they'd be like, you can, I don't even remember what they said, but it was like, you can essentially like have a piece of the pie of this guy's earnings, if such and such a thing. And I'm like, that's such a wild system to have in place, but maybe.
But it makes sense if you have one of these smaller companies that's how you're making your money. If you're publicly traded and like you can bring in money that way.
Yeah, something like that. It seemed like it was a little bit over my head. How
sick would that be, though? Like, how sick would it be if you're like, you had money to throw in, you're like, all right, I'll put in 10 grand and it gets me 1% of a potential Tatis contract down the road, and then all of a sudden he signs a $300 million contract. You're like, here's my money back, baby. Let's roll. So that'd be cool, man. I don't know.
Very cool. Speaking of cool, did you see that Jurickson Profar catch? By the way?
I'm all for these low fences.
Yeah.
I like low fences. Yep. I don't need them everywhere, but I like each ballpark having a little section that's a little low.
Side note on that, did the Little League fences get shorter, or are these kids just that much smaller? Because I saw a clip, we're like in prime Little League World Series, like regionals.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they may have, I guess the tournament's actually started, the World Series. We're in like prime season for that. So I'm seeing these clips floating around and I'm like, those fences are maybe 16 inches high.
Mm.
Anyway, it reminded me of that when I saw the Profar catch.
I don't know. Some of these kids put some swings on it though. Dear Lord.
We don't need to go down the rabbit hole of the size of the little leaguers nowadays, but aren't they like just generally smaller across the board?
And then you have the occasional one that's like our size. He's 11.
Is that because we've had this conversation before? Is it because the kids just like aren't outside playing as much? Like they're not growing at the same rate? Because you look at some of the, like, I know we're like past 30 at this point, so it probably just seems different now that we're not that age.
Probably going to be bigger.
You think?
Oh, like overall, if you're going to take the average, yeah. Because I mean, like, look at like the average height of a man 40 years ago was like 3 inches less than what it is now.
Fair.
So I feel like that's just, especially with what we're eating. Hello. You want to go down a rabbit hole? That might be
no
like a tinfoil hat for what we're consuming overall.
I would rather not talk about food, especially after this cookout gauntlet. I'm abstaining from food for a week. But yeah, anyway. No, the fences though, you bring up a good point. I'm all about the shorter fences for things like this.
Profar was in the Little League World Series, by the way.
Sure was for Curacao. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Catch of the year candidate, man. I wish I could play it on here, but I'm not trying to get flagged.
I still like the Denzel Clark one more. More difficult.
Yeah, that's why I said candidate and asked it more, presented it more as a question as opposed to a statement.
I vote Clark more, but
yeah,
good catch.
I'm with you.
Good catch. Season saving for the Braves for sure. Jabs. Sorry, I got to take jabs where I can because I'm running out of room there.
Why is that?
Because my team is only going to be
that's a great segue, because that's actually what I was going to bring up next. Do you have any thoughts, just briefly, on the state of the Yankees right now? Because the acquisitions that they made at the deadline have been booty. Your Hall of Fame closer can't even stay healthy at an old timers game. He's out here tearing Achilles. Like, what's happening? What's happening right now?
I think it's officially cursed. I think
Aaron Boone got tossed again today. Just
I think the curse is in place.
So you guys have the curse now.
I think so. And it was brought to the Nestor Cortez Freddie Freeman tank in the World Series. It was switched off when he was traded for Devin Williams, and Devin Williams took the curse. But yeah, I think it's there, dude. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, but I don't know why I continue to turn these games on.
There are people right now listening that absolutely hate you for being like, well, I'm just, my team's cooked. I'm checking out. I can't watch another game. Meanwhile, you guys are
tied for the last place in the wild
you're
card.
6 games back in the division, very much still in play, and you hold a wild card spot. The audacity.
The acquisitions were the fact that I was excited that it like solidified the fact that Devin Williams isn't being brought back at the end of the year. Clearly, it had nothing to do with the lack of performance or production, but it was the fact that like they went and got controllable guys who are exciting, who I think will be good and have been okay. It was just a rough start to that era. I don't know. Aaron Boone needs to get fired.
You said
moving
you
on.
want Posada.
Jorge Posada would be a dream.
Speaking of a dream was achieved this weekend for a one Jen Pawol, first female umpire to work a regular season game in the major leagues. I told you before we hopped on, I said, given the nature of this occurrence, this event seemed very locked in, like all business. Just seen her on the field, seeing her at the, which by the way, we've talked about this before. Credit to you. I think you've been, of the two of us, you've pushed this much more strongly than I have. They had naturally they had a little bit of I think it was a post-game presser. Maybe it was pre-game. I think it was post-game. For the umpires, and they're congratulating her, talking to her. But I saw people in the comments being like, this needs to be a regular occurrence. We need to have them
after garbage games of like 23 missed calls behind the plate. Like, yes, let's have that. Not just,
all business though, in the presser and on the field.
You brought up a good point. Is that I'm curious to see the first manager that gets in her face, starts screaming at her. I need to see that moment. I need to see what that brings out of her.
Let's just call a spade a spade. Like, this is a controversial thing, and people like, there's people on both sides of it, people that are celebrating it and people that are like, why is this a thing? The reality of it is the way that society currently operates is that there's presumably going to be instances where you're going to have, I'm not going to say Aaron Boone, but as a guy that gets ejected a lot, maybe more prone to it, but you're going to have someone in a situation where they get tossed and they're going to want to get up in the face of Jen. And it's just going to be interesting to see how that fallout happens, because you're going to have people being like, well, why are you yelling at a woman? And then it's going to be, well, she's no different than anybody. It's just going to be an interesting conversation.
It's just weird.
That's all.
Yeah, it's just different. In our sport, because like we obviously have seen female referees in other sports. Our sport is very specifically like, there's opportunities to scream at the umpires
routinely.
That's a part of our game more than it is a part of other games. And I'm not saying you don't have football coaches yelling at refs or basketball coaches yelling at refs, because like absolutely you do. But our managers get tossed because of yelling and what they say. And it's specifically in the rule book that you can't argue certain things, and that will cause you to get tossed.
And there are the words in particular that get you automatically tossed. There is a short list of words that you cannot say if you want to stick around.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. I think moving on, I guess. So we got politically correct things that we got to stick to. So I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm all about the best people at their job having that job. And I'm sure she's good at her job.
Yeah.
That's why she's got it.
Goes back to what I was saying. Seems like she's all business. You got plenty of people, vouching for the work she's put in. So, respect for the history that's been made. I guess all we really got. Nothing too noteworthy to really tack on here, unless you got anything else.
No, I don't. I think I'm all good.
Cheers. Anything we need to promote? Did we settle on when the next scorekeeping is going to be, just to give people learning how to keep book, just to give people an idea when that might be? If we haven't, it's fine, but I didn't know if we'd settled on something.
We're between 2 dates.
We're between, I think, the Little League Classic. Speaking of Little League, I think we're deciding between that and
Mets Mariners, which the only thing is that we've had it's been a Mets game seemingly every freaking time.
Every time.
That's the only reason I'm hesitating on that one.
So it would either be that or the 24th, which is Sox Yankees, funny enough. So we'll let you know.
Which I don't know if I have the heart to
my God, stop.
Live.
You're literally in the postseason today. Stop with the
You're kidding. You think that, I mean,
on paper, you are in the playoff and you're acting as if your team is 20 games back.
Might as well be. Oh my God.
There are people that cannot stand the pity party that you're throwing right now.
I'm not throwing a pity party. I'm saying I don't know if I can sit there and actually talk crap with you for 4 hours while we keep book, because I hate my team. I don't need a pity party.
Is there ever a time you don't hate your team? Because if I remember, I feel like you hated them when they were in the World Series last year. Like, this team doesn't deserve to be here. Like, is there?
Nah. I was hyped at the beginning of the year. I was hyped after the deadline. This team's better than last year. Somehow we're worse. I don't know what else to do.
Anywho's
football, fantasy football.
Yeah, we'll keep we'll keep talking about it. We'll figure out a date for our next scorekeeping for those that want to join us. That's always a blast. As I've said before, I thoroughly enjoy doing those. So keep an eye out for when that gets decided. I'm gonna make it a personal mission to work on getting some new merch on the shop. Full acknowledgement here, full accountability. I have really dropped the ball on promoting that, so I need to get back in the lab, especially with some new artwork, maybe incorporate some new things. As you can see here on the stream, if you're watching or if you're listening on your podcast app, you'll probably see our updated artwork with just our beautiful faces from our
good looking mugs right there
from our shoot in Atlanta. So who knows? Maybe get some. Maybe that'll serve as some inspiration to get some new merch up on the shop. Other than that, though, should be everything. We'll see you guys. What's today? Sunday. We'll see you guys Wednesday. Does Wednesday work for you? I think Wednesday works for me.
We'll talk.
Tentatively Wednesday, maybe Thursday. We'll let you know.
We'll talk.
This is the reality of not doing this full time yet.
Adults, man, adults. Whether your friends do it, whether your favorite players do it, whether your favorite teams do it, whether your least favorite teams do it, you don't do it. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.